call the meeting to order and a moment of silent prayer. Roll call, Mrs. Franks.
Mayor Kindle.
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Present.
Councilman Jenny.
Here.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Here.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
Councilman Tucson.
Here.
Acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
City Attorney Diwali.
Here.
Okay.
I need a motion to approval of the minutes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the motion to accept, receive, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held May 6, 2024.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, this takes to public comment on agenda items only. If you have a comment regarding what is on the agenda, you can speak now. Being that there's nobody, I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor, I make the resolution to approve consent agenda items 1 through 7.
Support.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we generally announce any appointments, and under number 7, appointment to the Beautification Commission is Candace Williams. And I think she'll be a great addition to the Beautification Commission.
Okay. She said that she might be running a little late. It depends on getting off of work on time.
They're not required to be here, so.
Right. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
And resolution passes.
Okay, this takes us to old business. Since we have none, we go to G, new business, city manager report.
Okay, item G1, public hearing, 19.5 mil levy to defray the cost to continue the maintenance of police and fire protection. Mayor and council, as scheduled, we will hold a public hearing on Monday night to allow property owners and an opportunity to review the monetary impact of the 19.5 mil assessment and also to receive additional public comment and input. For this portion of the agenda, only the standard motions of opening and closing the public hearing will be required. Mayor, a motion is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the motion to open the public hearing on the levying of 19.5 mil assessment to defray the cost to continue the maintenance of police and fire protection.
Support.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The public hearing is now open.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Just to clarify, for those of you who have been here before, this is the second public hearing on this issue. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that information for individual parcels of property are available.
At the back of the room.
Okay.
Madam Mayor? I just wanted to confirm that this year, using this levy, that the renovations for the firehouse and the police station will be complete with the women's changing area and such. That will be handled, this levy will handle those improvements.
That's correct.
Okay. Are there any further discussion?
And I'm hoping that after that, that we'll be able to start bringing this down a little bit now that we're caught up on other things.
That's our goal.
Good.
Anyone from the public?
My name is Teresa Foster. I live on Woodland. I was at the budget meeting October 2nd. It was stated that there was $200,000 set aside for the police locker room renovations. And then on May 6th, that part of the levy was for the police locker room renovations. How much is this project gonna cost? Are there plans so you can put a all-inclusive, complete specs together for them? And how much is this renovation really gonna cost? Because that's a lot of taxpayer dollars for something that we already have $200,000 for. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, I can entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead. Make the motion to close the public hearing.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item G2, levy of the 19.5 mil assessment. Mayor and council, with the public hearing now having been held, it is recommended that the attached resolutions be adopted to direct the assessor to spread the assessment levy on the taxable value of all lands and premises within the municipal boundaries of the city of Harper Woods to defray the cost to continue maintenance and operation of police and fire, 9.75 mils for police, 9.75 mils for fire. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
make the resolution to direct the city assessor to spread the assessment levy of 19.5 mils on the taxable value of all lands and premises within the municipal boundaries of the city of Harper Woods to defray the cost to continue maintenance and operations of police and fire, 9.75 mils for police and 9.75 for fire.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Constantino.
yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay.
Okay, item G3, award of bid, DWSRF Lead Service Replacement Program number 180-331. Mayor and council, we recently accepted bids for the 2024 DWSRF Lead Water Service Replacement Program project number 180-331. The city engineer's bid tabulation and recommendation is attached. I concur with the recommendation that the bid be awarded to Super Construction LLC contingent upon successful financial arrangements with the DWSRF program. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
by resolution, accept the lowest responsible bid submitted by Super Construction LLC in the amount of $988,400 for the 2024 DWSRF Lead Water Service Replacement Program, project number 180-331, contingent upon successful financial arrangements with the DWSRF program.
Support.
Okay, any discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I understand that this will replace 126 known lead services throughout the community. Is this all, I mean, I know this is required. Law requires that we replace, the known lead pipes. But what I'm curious about is there federal money that's given to us to help us with this, or is this all on our back?
Well,
Heather?
At this point, it's an unfunded state mandate, but as you know, we can get grants. Word on the street is that there is quite a large amount of money being set aside that will be able to trickle down to communities through the federal government as well. So that's on the horizon, that's what they tell us is coming.
Okay,
But as of right now, no, it's unfunded.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes?
Okay, so after these 126 or 127, whatever number it is, has been replaced, are we still going to each year continue to replace more lead pipes?
Yes.
It's,
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank?
Councilwoman LaPrat,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams,
Yes?
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Okay, the resolution passes.
okay, item G4, Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund Renewal. Mayor and council, attaches a memorandum from the acting finance director transmitting an invoice from the Michigan Municipal League's Workers' Compensation Fund for our 2024 workers' compensation insurance. We have been members of this self-insurance fund for more than 30 years, and it is recommended that we continue to participate. As this is a self-insurance pool, competitive bidding can be waived in accordance with city policy. I would also note that we received a dividend of $80,319 this year that has been applied toward the premium. This helps to offset this cost. It is recommended that this payment be approved. Mayor, a resolution is recommended.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
by resolution, approve payment to Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund in the amount of $64,383 for the workers' compensation insurance from July 1st, 2024
Support?
to
Through?
through June 30th. All of a sudden, I got it popping on my screen. June 30th, 2025, and further, in that this is self-insurance pool funds that competitive bidding be waived in accordance with the city policy.
Support.
All right, roll call vote. I'm sorry, discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, the question, we received a dividend of $80,000. Can you know what this dividend is?
It's, what happens is, I want to say, when they have investments that are good and claims that are less than what they would expect, they return the monies back to the members. And we've had a bad year drop off on our record too, so that it's all cumulative.
I wish I could get insurance company like that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank?
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams,
Yes?
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny,
Yes.
Councilwoman LaPrat.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G5, presentation, city projects. Mayor and council, the Economic and Community Development Director, Ty Hinton, and Economic and Community Development Deputy Director, Irma Hayes, will be providing all of you with information and updates on the various projects they are involved with, including the Ross Common Pocket Park, the Kelly Road Project, and the proposed Community Recreation Center, just to name a few. No action is required for this item. Ty, Irma?
Good afternoon. Of course, she's no stranger anymore.
Good afternoon.
How does-
Happy birthday, Mayor.
Everybody's aware, of course.
We can't hear you.
What did you say?
Everybody's aware of the mayor's birthday, right?
Yes, happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that?
Who told?
That's all over Facebook.
You did it, Jerry.
Me?
Oh, Maria?
Might as well.
Well, Everyone will do part of the presentation, I'll do the other. There are 9 different areas we're going to present. Just a brief update on, and we will be coming back at other times to give you more information as things develop. So, I will start out the presentation. The Community Center. As you know, we received from the state a $1.5 million grant so that we could build ourselves a community center. With everything that has been put into the pot at this point, we feel we have about $2.4 million. We're hoping that we can design a center for that amount of money. That design is underway. AEW is doing it. We have to submit an application. I should say, we have to complete the submission of the application that we did to get this grant. And I, as a project manager, am involved in the refinement of that application so that it can be acceptable. It's one of the items we're trying to complete within the next week. The official who's handling all of this is a person to be named, but the person I'm dealing with is Laurie Wagner is her name. We are required to work on the capital comparison part of the application. What that means is, although we've made up our minds as to what it is we want to do, we are going to have to make a comparison. If there's a building that was supposed to be part of our concern because we were going to buy it and renovate it, we had to actually identify an address and talk about the scope of that building and what it would take to actually renovate it. AEW is solving this for all of that. If there is a building that we will simply occupy because it was ready, then we will also report on that. That'll be a part of the comparison. So one of the things that we have to get out of the way in order to successfully apply for these funds. At this point, I'm going to turn the floor over to my colleague, and there's 2 reports she will make.
So I'll be reporting on the Pocket Park on Roscommon. So far, we have $200,000 from the state of Michigan, from the MDNR, which I believe is the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. We're going to use Act 51 for right-of-way improvements. We have heard from AEW, Ryan Kern, who's working with us, that the design plan is 75% complete. There'll be 2 types of fencing, a 6 feet and a 4 foot fencing around the perimeter of the park. Conceptual drawings to be reviewed by nearby residents at a scheduled community meeting scheduled for January 5th at 6 p.m.
January.
I'm sorry, June 5th.
Yes, that's a long time.
June 5th. I meant June 5th. I don't know why I was thinking January. Anyway, an explanatory letter to the is currently being delivered to residents with pertinent information. And the information will also be posted on the Engage website. The next thing I'd like to talk about is a sidewalk repair program. So far, we have $289,000 from Wayne County. The CBDG grant agreement has been signed. We have $170,000 TAP grant from Southeast Michigan Council of Government, which is also SEMCOG. $200,000 of the matching funds will be coming from Harper Woods. There's 3 different areas of eligibility for each fund. The largest allocation must be spent on blocks that are community development block grant eligible.
Irma?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to shoot one little blip in there. On the TAP grant, Because that is from state of Michigan, we have to go through MDOT contractors, and money for that grant will not be available until next year. The project is still on a go, but there's gonna be construction this year, construction next year. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I've made a note, and my colleague will now take over.
The prepared elementary school site is not a straightforward, uncomplicated real estate transaction. Let me just start out with that. There are some nuances and many moving parts. So we're going to take our time and really explain what's going on as it develops. At this particular point, for prepared, we have our attorney, Richard Barr, who is one of the country's best brownfield attorneys, who's going to also handle the neighborhood enterprise zone. Yes, who's also going to handle the neighborhood enterprise zone. Mr. Barr is engaging the attorney and the others on the developer's team to get them to complete the paperwork for the brownfield plan they have submitted to us, also for the neighborhood enterprise zone. What is a neighborhood enterprise zone? A neighborhood enterprise zone is a territory that a city designates where the people who are going to buy property in that area can get a tax break for 12 years, and then for the 13th, the 14th, and 15th year, they then have to ramp up to the full taxes. There are a lot of different housing developments that are taking place downtown, all across the state, utilizing the neighborhood enterprise zone. Villages are such now that we almost have no choice but to do that. But in addition, the construction costs, especially since COVID, has gone out the roof. So we have to give people the opportunity to have a break during at least the first 12 years that they're occupying a brand new house. In addition to that, there are brownfield redevelopment, I should say perks, and those perks are outlined as what's going to be called a brownfield plan. The brownfield plan itself can be as thick as a document like that or this. Primarily, the developer will use the proceed from the incremental tax that will increase on the property after the project's developed to pay for the demolition of the project and to pay for some of the infrastructure. There might be some other items as well, but all that's being fine-tuned and detailed. Just to give council and the public some idea as to how all of it works. There are going to be 71 units in the entire project. They will all be subsidized from 60% to 120% of the area median income. Is this Section 8 housing? No. Only 2 units will be available with mortgages at $105,000. 7 units at 80% of area median income, meaning mortgages at least at starting at $137,600 and up. 62 of the 72 units will be at 120% of area median income. And their mortgages will be $163, primarily a month. People who are making 120% of area median income would be a couple, for example, a 2-person household whose income is $90,000 or more. Those are the kind of salaries that professionals and others are making out there. And the predominant number of the duplexes and the townhouses in Brevard will be for folk making that kind of income. Just want to make that very clear. There are a lot of different things we have to do to get this project done, and I will be reporting on that as we go forward. All right, but I forgot to ask, are we going to allow questions later or as we go?
Mayor, what's your pleasure?
Any questions? Yes?
I have a question about the community center and then one about Popard. With the community center, you had mentioned that we need to do some sort of a comparison of a renovation of a building. If I'm hearing that correctly, I thought we were into new construction for the community center, not a renovation.
I'm glad that you brought me back to that question, because the exercise to get the application done is what I was talking about. We know that we want to develop that center at Salter Park, but they now want us to do some hard comparisons of alternatives. So I have to give at least 2 alternatives with real addresses.
Will they, if we come up with an alternative that they prefer, will they hold the money so that we have to do that?
No, they will not hold us to the alternatives. They just want us to present some.
Okay,
They know what we want to do. They just want us to present 2 alternatives.
okay. And then on Popard, I had the impression that the school district was changing their plans on what was gonna happen at Popard. Have you had any insight from the school district about what they have in mind?
Well, what the school district has in mind is what's proceeding. The developer had a due diligence period to get their act together before the deal is off. So they still have time to put it all together. How they stack their capital to finance it, the brownfield benefits, the NEZ benefits to the residents, all of that is very complicated stuff. It takes some time for that to actually come together. So they were given at least enough time to pull it all together.
Thank you.
They have not changed their mind. Those are rumors as far as I know.
Okay.
Okay, question?
Madam Chair? Will there be any changes in the design at all? Like maybe add a garage to a couple or basically any of them, or we're gonna stick with the same design last of the year?
It will actually be, the last site plan you saw is basically what we're going to get, which is primarily duplexes, and then off to the side, townhouses. The townhouses will be the kind of structure where you drive into your garage. There is a room on the front for family functions and that sort of thing. Second floor is living, dining. Third floor, sleeping.
Okay, some will have garages, okay.
Yes, the townhouses.
Now, will they have, some of the pictures I've seen balconies. Do these have any balconies?
The townhouses will have balconies.
Okay, Madam Mayor, thank you. I had 2 questions. I was going to ask about the balconies, because I think the original site plans we saw, there were no balconies, and if they had changed their plan, but you say they might have balconies now, so.
Well, the idea now is to provide balconies are going to be built into the townhouse.
Okay.
And to the extent that they can, and scraping for money to see what the possibilities are. We're looking at the duplexes.
And the other
Really
one?
not the
Oh,
money
sorry.
at this point, duplex balconies.
Okay. And the other one, just for clarification, because you said school district, you are talking about the school district of Grosse Pointe?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, just for clarification, because you just said
Right.
school district.
Which does give some perks to attract buyers. Okay.
Ty?
Excuse me?
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, can I ask a question? So I was at all those school board meetings where they approved, they gave the extension to Robertson Brothers and the other, I should have looked it up, but do we know the exact date of when the extension ends? And do we think that they're gonna have to ask for another extension on this?
I don't know the detail of that. I can get back to the council. I do believe it's coming up.
Yeah, I thought they gave them a 6-month, right.
Yes. So we are working very hard to make sure that we meet that deadline.
Right, because the superintendent made an announcement at like the March 15th meeting, the new superintendent, that there was some snafus going on, so it was a little concerning, so,
Yes, the snafus are primarily financial.
okay.
Any further discussion?
Anything else?
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. We can continue our report, or we can cut it in half and present the rest at another time.
Okay.
What's your pleasure?
Continue.
I mean, short.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah, you could present it now if you wish.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
very well.
only a half hour into this.
I'd like to talk about community engagement. This is really brief. Citizens Lab, which is Engage Parker Woods, the website. Information session is scheduled for tomorrow with Citizens Lab to review the software and the potential of the applications. And on that website, we plan to set up the Pocket Park project so that the community will know, we'll be able to post the letters, notify the public of the meeting on June the 5th at 6 p.m. We'd also like to inform them that the park opening ceremony, there's a September goal for that. And set up feedback loop for residents for any problems that may occur and establish some other things like maintenance with DPW and routine trash pickup.
As some of you know, we have engaged McKenna to do a zoning rewrite of our ordinance, which is going to be extensive, and it's going to be the kind of rewrite that will be detailed enough to take us into the rest of the century with plans to attract the best type of commercial and residential structures that we can do. That zoning rewrite currently is being sponsored by a grant of $14,000 from the state. And I understand, John, that's probably another grant that's possible.
Yes.
Okay. Our zoning rewrite. Oh. Can you hear me?
Is the mic working?
No. Okay, so I'll stand and I'll project this one. How's that? Okay? All right. For the zoning rewrite, we have to pick a steering committee, and on that committee will be 2 city council members, 2 planning commissioners, 3 or 4 administrative personnel, and a member from the Board of Zoning Appeals, and a member from another active commission. It could even be the Beautification Commission. There are deliverables with our current contract and scope of services that I will not detail here. But what I'd like to go into is Eastland. At this particular point, Eastland has leased the first building. What is the first building? The first building is the building on Vernon. The outfit's name is Thai Summit. They will be doing stamping operations, among other things. But Thai Summit has requested that their parking lot be secured with gates and that sort of thing. So we are at this point being helped by McKenna and Associates to determine whether or not there's an item that has to go back before the planning commission and then to you, or is it something we can deal administratively through the planners themselves? So that will be determined, and we will let you know the outcome of that decision. Any question on that? The ribbon cutting for the East Land will be June the 3rd. It will be quite a day to celebrate. Also, the Kelly Road project is rolling at this point. We did submit a grant for the Safe Street for All. There is a three-part project. First, there was a grant from SEMCOG so that the planners and other staff from the city of Detroit, from the city of Harvard Woods, and also some county staff came together to write a fairly detailed plan that we'd like to see implemented above and below 8 Mile. But those details now have to be approved as a plan. There is no final plan that's going to be approved without you taking a look at it. Let me hurry up and say that, okay? But what's happening is that we're simply trying to apply so that we can get at least $3, maybe $4, maybe $5 million to actually do improvements above 8 Mile and below 8 Mile on Kelly Road. The city of East Point decided that they wanted to create what is called a social district, a destination where people could come and shop, eat, go to restaurants, have a nightlife and all of that. We like the same thing to happen, of course, on Kelly Road below 8 Mile. The planning for that is something we could get into very earnestly once we get the planning grant that has been applied for, okay? And then we can go after additional monies, which will be more money, to actually implement a particular plan. Any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, as far as, you had mentioned that we would see it before it moves forward once the plans are kind of more formalized.
Right.
Do you have any idea when that might happen?
The timing on that will probably be next fall. It's a very competitive process. I'm just hoping that we jointly, the city of East Point, are successful in getting some initial dollars to do the planning, that then the plan that you will see will be a result of those dollars being put to use.
Thank you.
Okay. And that is our presentation.
I'm curious, there's one thing I saw earlier that I thought perhaps you would address tonight, Mr. Hinton, and that was Art in the Park, that there might be some changes with our, plans for that. Is that something that you are working with? Or?
That's something right now, but we don't know it's going to happen. Okay? We are probably going to have to fine-tune that and present it next year.
Okay, so this.
However, there are art shows that we can take a look at putting on, not that particular one, if we have the resources. In order to pull something like that off, you actually have to create a certain amount of money to work with. And it's something that we have not just totally forgotten about. But the particular event you're talking about will not take place.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Is that it?
Yes.
I'm wondering if our economic and community development team will be working with the NEDC at all? Because it seems like they have a plan to do an event with booths and different things in the community.
Well,
If we all work together, I think it can be a really nice event.
well, let me say that we are not averse working with them, giving them advice or whatever. So that is still the case, always has been.
Are there any further questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes the city manager's reports.
Okay. Call the audience.
The weather getting warmer again, I just want to bring up again this problem of this loud noise business with this loud music. There's probably going to be some graduation parties and people playing loud music outside for hours and hours on end. And this is very disruptive to the whole neighborhood. It doesn't affect just one block. It affects probably up to a mile from the source of these parties. A lot of these are conducted on LLC rental properties. They're not even owned by they're not homeowner owned. And we have these absentee landlords. And so in the current issue of Scientific America, the May issue, 2024, the excellent article on noise. And I'm going to read a quote. So this is quote, "Noise can damage more than just your ears. Through daytime stress and nighttime sleep disturbances, loud sounds can hurt your heart and blood vessels, disrupt your glandular system, and make it difficult to think and learn," unquote. So it's a very interesting article, and the effects of this loud noise cause serious health problems, especially when it goes on for hours and hours on end. You cannot block it out of your home. So I think this is a very serious intrusion. Why should one party be able to affect hundreds of other people for hours and hours on end and cause blood pressure, increases in blood pressure, and you can't think and learn and concentrate? So I think we need an ordinance very seriously to ban this playing of loud music outside. And not only that, the immediate neighbors are probably being subject to a decibel level that is exceeding federal safety regulations. So there is an office in the federal government, a noise control office, part of the EPA, but they have done nothing over the past 40 years. But it's up to local units of government to take the ball, you might say, and don't rely on the federal government wanting to do anything. So technically speaking, these noises are kind of, by federal law, unlawful, but there's no enforcement or any feedback or concern, it seems, from the federal government. They don't have the money to fund this office, is basically what it comes down to. So I would again urge, before we have this warm weather coming up, and it would be nice to have some peace and quiet and not have to be listening for hours and hours on end to loud music. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Hi, Denise Gornick on Lockmore, and I just wanted to invite the entire neighborhood to these city council meetings every 2 weeks or so, because the neighbors need to see what's going on in our city. It's very important that they know everything that's going on and who's involved with making decisions and how these decisions affect us locally. And I don't think the federal government will do a darn thing for the sound issue that's local. So we need to get our local government involved and do what we, the people, want us to do. I appreciate you listening, but I'd really like for you to listen and hear what we, the people, want. And I would respect that a lot more than the way I feel right now about everything, especially with the marijuana shops, which is 30 feet from my backyard. So earlier in the winter, I got a beautification award, which was freaking awesome. And then last couple weeks ago, I get a pot shop in my backyard. So my house went from beautiful to pot within 3 or 4 months. How do you explain them apples? So I'm not happy. I appreciate Ms. Williams and Ms. Constantino who voted against it for my property, but everybody else voted it. It was as if we weren't heard. And there were tons of us here. But we need more of the citizens of this city to show up and stand up and speak up, because it will make a difference. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? You need to make your way to the podium. If not, we call the call to the council, beginning with Cheryl Constantino.
I would love to have our ordinance committee start meeting again so we can work on these things. And then there are things we could, probably do to control this a little bit more and maybe control what's going on with the marijuana shops when they come in as well. Right now, the best we have that I can offer is that you can make a complaint about the noise and the police department is required to follow up on it. Anyone who's afraid to use their name, I don't have a problem if you use my name. I've done it for a couple of my tenants, and what are they gonna do? I mean, they might bug me a little bit, but I'm happy, to help you make that complaint, because I do understand how frustrating it is. We used to have some neighbors behind us that had very loud, long parties, 9-hour-long parties with loud noise, loud music. I was so happy when they moved a couple of months ago that now we don't have to deal with them. And then the people that replaced them had a party and we could hardly even hear the music at all. It's like heaven, because they had their music indoors, not outdoors. So it was so much better. But I would be, very supportive of having an ordinance to put the music indoors instead of outdoors. And as far as the marijuana goes, I think we need to make sure that we're patrolling the parking lots and making sure that the people are not smoking in their parking lots, because the parking lots are literally, maybe 12 feet away. I mean, I know, Denise, your house is right there on the alley, and a lot of times, probably at least 2 out of 5 times, the people go in their car and they start smoking right away, which is illegal, but they do it anyway. And so then the neighbors are gonna get stuck having to smell it. And if your lungs get irritated easily or anything like that, that's gonna be a problem. So we've gotta stay on this. And we need to really beef up our enforcement. We do actually have a lot of ordinances already, we just have to enforce them. And I know over COVID, things got a little bit lax, but I think now is the time, we're spring going into summer, now is the time to crack down and really enforce all of these ordinances that we already have. I mean, it used to be in the old days, if you even parked your car a foot into the sidewalk, you would get a ticket. We just expect to get a ticket. You leave your car in the road overnight, expect a ticket. So now I see my neighbors that are in the condos parking in the street night after night after night, and they never got a ticket. The only time they came and gave a ticket was the day after my parking pass expired. I didn't think about it because it was like on the 8th of the month mine expired. And I was thinking, okay, I go get my new parking pass tomorrow on the 9th. Well, they came at 2 a.m. on the 9th and they gave me a ticket. And since then, I haven't seen any cops. So, go figure. Anyway, time for serious ordinance enforcement.
Mr. Toussaint.
Yes. Well, just want to make a comment, Councilwoman Constantino, about when the marijuana shops and when people come out and they go right in their cars and start smoking. Just about every shop I've talked to people about and they've commented to me about, it's usually guards there at this shop that don't allow them to sit around in this parking lot and do anything. They run them off. So that, I'm not sure it's going to be really a big concern. One concern I'm sympathetic about is the lighting. I will admit that, but it's so funny. I don't even live in, I live in a residential area, not right across the alley from a commercial area. But since LED lights have come out, my neighbors behind me, not even right behind me, a whole block over, decided to complement the street lights with these big lights. And they lighted my whole bedroom. I mean, I had to go to them, wrote them letters and said, please, you got to turn these lights down. So far, they've been cooperative and we've gotten it down. So I'm sure that if we run into a light issue with the cannabis home, we can work something up that's going to be, that we can work for you. Okay, second of all, this weekend, Mayor Kendall and I, attended Summit in Mount Pleasant. Give me a second here. Okay. We attended the Advanced Summit in Mount Pleasant. There were great lectures and workshops and training on topics like fostering an inclusive community environment, equitable approaches to community wealth, understanding trade-offs within community engagement, partnerships to build thriving communities, part 1 and 2. And a lot of them were very interactive. Once this has sitting there listening on lectures. In fact, we had one workshop where I actually acted like I was there. Like, oh wow, this is interesting. So, and that ended up being quite a bit of fun. I was also asked to monitor that for those 2 days, which was also kind of fun, introducing the speakers and keeping everybody on time and that type of thing. We also had attended the elected officials reception at the Lockmore Club this past week with the council people. And what I really like about that is the fact that elected officials for Harper Woods and the Points, I'm kind of happy that the Harper Woods and the Points do have a pretty good relationship. And with all these, a lot of the meetings we go to, also they're attending to. So, in fact, the Juneteenth program that's coming up is in cooperation with all of the Points who are going to also contribute to making this thing happen, which I'm glad to know that. Thanks to our mayor and our new deputy economic development person. We also have to remember too, with the schools too, like part of Harper Woods residents are part of the Harper Woods School District and part of the Grosse Pointe School District. So it's important for us to also participate in those type of meetings. That's when we talk about the schools and all. That's all. Hope everybody has a happy Memorial. Don't get Memorial Day presentation, Memorial Day program coming up on Memorial Day at 10 o'clock in the morning. So hope to see all of you there. It's always really nice to be here. Okay.
I agree with Mr. Toussaint about a number of things that he mentioned. The marijuana shops, I also have had that same experience, that people, once they have purchased their items, leave the premises. If they stay on the premises, it is illegal for them to partake in any products right there. And so we had the woman from Sozo here saying that if anyone were to be indulging on her property, they would shut the marijuana store down.
Right.
It's not a matter of catching the person, it's a matter of shutting down the facility. And so I think that is a motivator to make certain that people are not going to be abusing them. Also, I wanted to mention the elected officials reception. I also was quite pleased the opportunity to meet with some of our counterparts in the points and to hear very positive impressions that they have of Harper Woods, and also to hear that they were involved in our Juneteenth presentation. So I think they're looking forward to that. For future reference, there was something that I was going to ask Mr. Hinton about, and so, at some future time. I know that we were getting ready, a development-ready community, and I wanted to see how we were progressing in that. And so at a future meeting, if you want to update us on that. And then I also wanted to wish the mayor happy birthday.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, really quick. With all the stuff we've okayed in the last couple of months, with construction and everything, just be careful out there. Give the guys a little bit of room with construction. I know they did some work on my block, and just give them a little leeway, and they're out there helping us out, so give them some space, guys.
Okay, if anyone has gotten one of these placed on their door, call DPW. They need to drop off the water testing kits, because they have to make their quota. So, I got one on my door. You had to, it's a notice so that you're in the program that you need to get your water tested. But a little birdie told me that some people have gotten these and have not gotten back to DPW to get their testing kit. Leave your water off for like 6 hours, fill up 2 jugs, pour them together, fill out the paperwork correctly, and give them back. It's pretty simple, and then they'll send you'll get a thing in the mail with what's in your water. But got one of these, ask your neighbors, hey, did you get a red tag? That's not, I didn't pay my bill, it's this, do your water testing. Last Friday, we were invited to a community engagement over at Grosse Pointe North, and a couple of us went. And they, over at North, we're part of the Grosse Pointe School District, and if anybody knows Suzanne Klein, she was an icon superintendent for the Grosse Pointe schools, and they named the library after her. So they had a luncheon and had a few speakers, and Suzanne got up and talked. They had choir sang. It was really a nice event. I mean, Suzanne was probably one of the best things to ever happen to the Grosse Pointe Public Schools. So it was an honor to be there. I think that's it. We did our perennial plant exchange. Went well. We had a pretty good crowd there, and started to put a few plants over here, and we're going to be landscaping this corner over here very soon, along with DPW, and so that's it. Yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. Memorial Day, I hope everybody can come out to the event for the Memorial Day celebrations. Like they said, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 10, right?
I think it's 10:15 when it starts.
When it starts. But it's real nice. It's not very long. It's not a very long program, but it's a really nice program. So it's right up there at Johnston Park. Juneteenth is coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. We're doing something with the Grosse Pointe, so that should be really nice. I also went to the elected officials reception and was really pleased to meet all of the, our neighbors from Grosse Pointe, and it was all of them represented, I do believe, somebody from each of the Grosse Pointes. And, I always marvel at the fact that we got so many female mayors out there, because it's really nice. And for the city council meeting, I do wish more residents would come out. We really do need to hear your voice. You really do make a difference when you come out. We do listen. And sometimes it may make a change in the way that we were thinking about something previously. So I really do wish more people from, the area would come on out to our city council meetings. And last thing is Jerry, of course, told us that was the mayor's birthday. So happy birthday.
Put it on Facebook.
So we do have something for you. So we got a little gift for our mayor and a card. Do want to wish her happy birthday.
You know what, guys? I thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it because everybody in my family was trying to get things situated. We usually go from brunch to dinner, you know, all day long. And so when I had a few meetings, when I had council meeting, I told everyone, I'm not celebrating. I'll do this on the weekend where I could have my champagne and enjoy my day. But I truly appreciate my colleagues here stepping out and giving me this. I appreciate it very much. Don't put out there. But I really want to say that after this reception at the Grosse Pointe, it really made me realize that all my travel and hard work is beginning to pay off, because wherever I go to now, it is not a negative conversation regarding Harper Woods. It's a helpful, and getting the buy-in for the Juneteenth celebration was not as hard as I thought, right, John? Mm-hmm. We were at a meeting and everybody was willing to buy into it and was willing to be a part of the Juneteenth celebration, which is going to be phenomenal this year. But we've been doing it since 17, I believe, first year 17. And it was just an idea. The lady in Flint had approached me at a Black Caucus meeting, and she said, what do you do for Juneteenth in your community? And so she's the grandmother of the Juneteenth holiday, and she just passed last week before last. But this has been her whole life study event. They have been doing Juneteenth in the city of Flint since the 70s. And it is a big deal. And but like I said, when I met her years ago, and in 2015, she said, well, just what are you doing in your community for Juneteenth? And I said, well, really, nothing. And that's when I started to try to formulate something. And to me, Juneteenth is a point of education. And that's why I keep it on actually June the 19th. We'll always have, if I have anything to say about it, the celebration will be on the 19th. But it's always about educating everyone, because not just people of another race, a lot of us that are Black did not understand what Juneteenth really was about. And I grew up thinking it was just the Emancipation Day is what my parents celebrated. They never said Juneteenth. But the emancipation that we celebrated was Juneteenth. And we generally celebrated it in Canada. Give that. But that's the way, when I grew up, and I couldn't wait to go to the dance and the carnival and everything for the emancipation every year. But now, lo and behold, I found out that it was Juneteenth celebration. So there are many facets of the Juneteenth that we keep bringing so that people can understand. If you don't understand anything else, how did it take 2 years for people to get the news that they were free? In today's society, that's hard for young people to even understand, because we have instantaneous response to news and everything. So it's a learning experience. I guarantee you, if you come to this year's celebration, which will be June 19th on Wednesday, from 1 to 4, and it'll be at the WC3 parking lot on Veneer, you will learn something new, and you will also be entertained. So hopefully everyone will come out. It's a free event, and if you have a nonprofit or whatever, we have tables available so that the citizens get to know what we have in our community. There are a lot of things that we don't know that we do have. So that'll be one way. And I forgot about, we had a wonderful event at Harperwood School District, CCI, where the kids are entrepreneurs. And they had a bidding war where they decided on what to give these kids, like $150, $200. I think one kid got $300 to reinvest in their business. And I don't have one. I bought one for my daughter-in-law, but it was a bonnet, a silk bonnet, and it was just so comfortable. And I think they sold it for $9. But it was something that these kids are creating. The widget, they had some kind of game. I'm just saying, be involved in our community, because there are a lot of things going on that you just don't know about, but we'd like to encourage, if nothing else, our children need to be encouraged, and they need to know that we care enough about them to be involved in their lives so that they can be the best citizens that they could possibly be. And they can only do that when they have good examples in front of them. Not just the teacher, but it's their community. I know that it's taken my whole community to raise me. And I appreciate all those people that were in my life that allowed me to be the person that I am today. I consider myself well-rounded. Now, you know, some may think I'm a little crazy, but that's okay. I know that I'm well-rounded, and I want Harper Woods to be the best place that anybody can live. It takes time. I can't do everything instantaneously, but slowly but surely, you will see the benefits of what we have been doing here as a group. And with that, Mr. Jennings, I missed you last
I
week.
missed you guys too.
And thank you, guys.
I missed you guys too, so. With that note, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are presently adjourned.